All right, what we have here is something called a probability distribution function. PDF is generally the way they are used in an acronym. So what are they? This is going to be a very, very small, short video. Here, this left column here lists every possible outcome. So whatever this study was about, you can see up in here it talks about a collection of 50 patients and how many times they rang for the nurse. So these are the associated probabilities. You can see they're all over 50 because they're all about 50 patients. Now, besides having every single possible outcome on the left side, on the right side, since you're associating the probabilities with each of all those outcomes, the right column has to add up to 1. Indeed, watch. If I take 4, the numerator from the first one, plus 8, plus 16, plus 14, plus 6, plus 2, let's see what I add up to. 4 plus 8 is 12. 16, that gives us 28. 42 plus 8 more does give us 50. So this one is the same as 50 out of 50. So those are the only two things you need here. Every outcome on the left and their associated probabilities on the right. One way you can check to see if you have every outcome taken care of is to make sure that this column sums up to 1. Here's the only example I'm going to do. We will be using these type of tables all throughout the semester. So this is just to give you an idea of what they're going to look like. You'll have a couple of problems to work. But let's take a look at what it says here. Jeremiah has basketball practice 2 days a week. 90% of the time he attends both practices. 8% of the time he attends one practice. And then 2% of the time he does not attend either practice. So we could do something like this. Let's do X is the number of outcomes. So that'll be the number of times per week. So let me put that. X equals number of times Jeremiah attends basketball practice in a week. You can feel free to use your own words. Well, you can see there's only 3 outcomes. He either goes no times, 1 time, or twice. Now the second column is the probability of each of those events occurring. So let's start. The way they gave it was they gave it in basically the reverse order of the way I wrote it here. I recommend doing what I did though, going from lowest to highest when you don't know anything. That's always a good, safe bet. So let me start here. 90% of the time he attends both, so that's X equals 2. So the notation, I'm going to put it in here with the picture. You don't have to write this part, but this is what the notation will look like. So that's the probability that X equals 2. And we are told that that is 90% of the time. I will instead use decimals. Then 8% of the time he attends one practice. So the probability that X equals 1 equals, it says 8%, so 0.08. And then even smaller, 2% of the time, probability X equals 0 is only 2%. Now to make sure that this is actually a probability distribution function, first of all, 0, 1, or 2 are the only possible outcomes that there can be. Does this column add up to 100% or 1? And I think you'll see that yes, it does. 90 plus 8 plus 2 is 100. So this equals a total of 1.